you're going to be going to the Philippines to recruit nurses. How's the reaction been from employers or healthcare facilities and maybe even candidates that might know from the Philippines?
Yeah, well, I've gotten a lot of correspondence through all mediums, even through social media channels. Provided all the necessary links for people that are interested. Specifically, this is for nurses that are living in the Philippines. And we've selected the Philippines because we have a history there and their credentials are leveled with the credentials that we need here. Obviously, there will be support systems in place to ensure that there's an ease of transition for those internationally educated nurses from the Philippines. We have supports for those internationally educated nurses here as well that are here in Manitoba. And we'll continue to promote that because obviously we have a labor shortage. Part of that variable to address that labor shortage is through immigration.
The last time the province was in the Philippines to recruit nurses was in around 2008. A lot of those nurses were deployed in the southeast Manitoba region. Do you expect or do you know where these nurses are going to be deployed or be stationed at? Is it Winnipeg? Is it all across Manitoba?
All I can tell you is that the whole province has a need for nurses. So it's not just going to be for a specific region. So the regional health authorities, under the direction of our health minister, will be addressing those needs with regards to recruitment on the specific locations.
Pretend I'm a nurse in the Philippines. Let's say I don't have relatives here in Manitoba. Does that improve or decrease my chances versus maybe somebody that has connections here in Manitoba?
Yeah, well, there is an adaptability factor with regards to the provincial nominee program. Obviously, there are factors such as a family being here in Manitoba, which can increase your chances to immigrate to Manitoba. But everybody will have a fair shot with regards to the interview process, which will be conducted by Shared Health, and then those who are vetted and qualified will move on to the provincial nominee program staff that will be in the Philippines.
So when you're going there, you're scheduled to be there from the 21st of February to the 25th, about a week.
Yes.
What do you anticipate or what do you have planned as far as the Manitoba delegation? You mentioned that PNP is coming with you. Any other representatives that are going to be joining the delegation?
This is specifically a health recruitment mission. So we will have staff from Shared Health and obviously provincial nominee program staff, the Immigration Pathway Division. I'll be there conducting meetings with the Philippine government, looking at our agreements with regards to our memorandum of understandings with respect to labor with the government of the Philippines. I'll be having some meetings. I'm sure I'll be doing some tours as well of some facilities that will benefit both our jurisdictions.
So the process has already begun. There's screening partnerships that you have that are seen on the Manitoba website. What are the timelines like? If you have a qualified candidate that's gone through the screening process and has been selected, how soon do you expect them to be here in Manitoba?
Well, what I can tell you is that the process is that once they're qualified, there'll be support systems in place for those nurses to come here. From a what by when standpoint, I can tell you as a minister, as one who's representing the province of Manitoba, of course, we want them here as soon as possible, but there will be some variables in place as well because obviously some may have family members that they may want to accommodate with them. So, all those logistics will have to be in place. But what I can tell you is that we have a labor shortage in Manitoba. We're competing with other jurisdictions, and that's the reason why we're not just focusing on having a recruitment gathering in Manila, but we have staff going to Iloilo and Cebu as well.
That's great that you mentioned Iloilo and Cebu. As far as Filipinos there, are there strategies that you have in place that's going to help promote living and working in Manitoba? Part of your trip?
Yeah, absolutely. We have correspondence in place. Staff will be giving me direction and I will be giving directions to promote our province. Manitoba is a very friendly place, Filipino-friendly environment. Those coming to our province, and not just Winnipeg, but all over. I've done 14 public consultations with the Immigration Advisory Council, and I've seen many Filipinos and many immigrants, for that matter, across our province. So, we want to be that welcoming place for those who are coming here.
You've addressed the healthcare labor shortage. I'm going to switch topics. What about initiatives that might allow hospitality or other industries to do similar things that the province is doing by tapping into the Filipino labor market for them to come here to Manitoba?
Yeah. Whether it's the Filipino labor market or labor markets from other countries, obviously I'll be taking a hard look in regards to what type of skilled workers that we need. Skilled workers overseas, skilled workers here in Manitoba. We have to start opening that skilled workers overseas a bit more because we want folks coming from other countries to come to our province, contributing to our province and having them gainfully employed. So there is plans in place. We've done recruitment missions in the past with PNP, the Immigration Division. It's just that because of the pandemic, obviously we weren't allowed to have a lot of them, but I'm actually starting to have more of them, and we'll be planning more in the near future.
Awesome. Just to wrap up, I've been in recruiting, at least in the tech industry, for the last 5 years. The greatest source of candidates that I've seen was through referrals. And from what I can tell, you have a community referral program. also taking advantage of the large Filipino community that we have here in Manitoba. Is there a message you want to share with Manitobans or Filipino Manitobans today that can help promote your trip, that can help promote living, working here in Manitoba? What do they need to do? Do they need to connect with the government? Do they need to connect with their relatives? Any suggestions?
Well, the process that we've done, obviously, here as a government, we've connected with the Philippine Embassy and the Canadian Embassy in the Philippines to connect with recruiting agencies. As far as Filipino Manitobans are concerned, we have links that are out there. We'd like you to spread the message to our kababayans back home. Obviously, this is a big deal for many who are in the nursing profession, who want to be able to work abroad. And obviously, one of the big things that we know is a lot of Filipinos support their families back home. That has never changed. That's a big industry that we know that money remittance is. With all our kababayans here in the province of Manitoba, is to spread the word. Manitoba is coming, and we want to welcome more future Manitobans to our province.
Final question. While you're there, there's always been a really strong relationship between Manitoba and the Philippines. Are there any other initiatives to go back? You and I have been on several business missions, whether it's the Manitoba Philippine Business Council or just heading to the Philippines for business initiatives. What strategies or maybe initiatives do you think are going to also come out of maybe your meetings in the Philippines?
Obviously, certain businesses in the Philippines that we would like to, attract and welcome them to Manitoba. We've been there before, obviously you and I know there's a lot of opportunity for both countries, I mean Canada and Manitoba for this case as a province, to mutually benefit from each other because we have such a huge diaspora here in Manitoba that's well represented. I tell you that there are things that we're trying to fit into my busy schedule because I'm there only for a week. It'll be a tight timeline, but there's things that I want to meet with certain people out there, whether it's government officials or business folks that will contribute to Manitoba's economy, and it will both mutually benefit each other.
John, thank you very much for your time and wish you the best of success on your trip, and I wish I could join you.
Thank you. Salamat po.